Welcome to Black Diesel Garage. I'm Gabe, and in this video I'll show you how to build a coolant overflow pressurized tank-a-mabob for your 6.5 diesel. Because the original one broke. This is on my brother's truck. They're $200 for a new plastic one. So it is steel, but I built this one out of metal for like $20. So if you stay tuned, you'll see how to make one of these. See ya. Yes, I'm just inside sitting on the floor making this because it's cold outside and I'm a baby. So I'm just gonna start figuring out how I want to make each piece of metal and marking it out, and then I'll get back to you and show you what I thought out and what sizes I'm making each piece. So I'll be back. Okay, so here's what I got. This is a side, this is a side. I basically just took that rough shape and squared it up. It's for each side, it's gonna be 4 inches thick and 8 inches tall. So there's my two sides. And then this is gonna be the front side, and it is 8 inches tall, like those, and then 10 inches across. And here's my back side, same size, just 10 inches across and 8 inches tall. Then I messed up on these lines. I put these two lines to make these pieces long ways, but the metal wasn't long enough that way, so I had to flop them. And this is my top and bottom. So since this is gonna be 4 inches thick, they're 4 inches wide, and then 10 inches long, like the rest of it. And then I'm assuming if you're wanting to make one of these, you have this piece here. So what I did was I just laid it down and looked underneath the metal, and I marked my 2 bolt holes, and I marked the tab. Because on the back of these, they have a tab that slides into the firewall. And then I just roughly drew some lines where to cut out. And I don't think I need to have that notch cut out of it. I think it can all be one flat piece. I will have to space it off the box a little bit. So I don't know quite what I'll do with that yet. I might just go ahead and cut some flaps in here like that. I can bend outwards and then weld them to the back of my box. I don't have the radiator cap yet. I'm getting one off the internet that's steel. This is brass. I was hoping I could just snap this one out of here and use it, but it's brass. So I'm just gonna, for $6 off the internet, order a steel one to weld into the top of this. And I haven't got metal pipe yet, but once I get this all welded together, I'll get a pipe this size and a pipe this size, and I'll drill holes for them and show you where I'm putting them, and I'll weld those in. But so far, I have the main box pieces and the rough shape for the back. So I will cut those out and then weld them up. And now, I am in my small little garage thing. And I got my truck all tore apart in here, my 7.3 crew cab. Got the metal on the floor with my grinder, and it's just cold. But you gotta do what you gotta do, so I guess I'll just suck it up, be out here in the cold, and whine about it. So I'm gonna take my grinder and get to cutting. Well used. cold drifty. Man, it's cold out here. So I got all the pieces cut out except for where it mounts to the pickup. I didn't cut that. I'm gonna go ahead and weld everything together except for the lid, just in case that'd make it easier cutting the hole in it for when I get the radiator cap, fail cap or whatever, and welding that on in case it'd make it easier for cutting the hole, sorry, a little cold. There's my welder right there. I'm gonna plug it in. It's just a 140 Hobart. Not a bad little welder. Got on Marketplace for 300 bucks. So if you need a tool, always surf Marketplace, because when you need it, it won't be there. I did find that for 300 bucks. Nice little welder. But like, I needed a cherry picker at one time, and I saw them on Marketplace all the time. And then, since I needed one, I looked on Marketplace. I looked for 2 or 3 weeks and could not find a single cherry picker on Marketplace. So I went and bought a brand new one, which that's pretty nice, and it wasn't too bad price. It was 200 bucks. But you see them for $75 and $50 and $150 on Marketplace. And I had to buy a new one, and then I saw them all over the place on Marketplace once I bought mine. So that's how things work, which I'm sure you guys know that. But not a bad little welder. Shop Marketplace for your bigger tools. And I know I'm probably going to maybe get some comments about it being a Hobart, but whatever, I could afford it. Alright, so I have the coolant overflow containment unit thingamabob all welded up. I do have a couple concerns. It's been a while since I've MIG welded, and I haven't even done it regularly when I did. For the most part, my welds look alright. Back here I had a little bit of a hole, so I just took a hand file, or a little bit of holes in my weld where the gas was blown by the wind. So I filed that and re-welded it. My welds don't look too bad, and I'm not too worried about them, except for this is incredibly thin, and welding it to this I'm not quite sure if I have a good seal around there. I'm fairly confident, but not 100% sure. And then my other concern is these. I should have sank them in deeper to where I could weld on that pipe rather than on the threads where it's thin. So welding around these, my welds look kind of halfway all right. They aren't the best. But if you look inside, there's a lot of white material, I don't know what from, in both these. And I was almost afraid that I was burning too deep and might have made the side walls of these pretty thin. But I just welded up a square box. I have the dimensions mentioned in there. This is a 1/2-inch pipe plug, and this is a 1-inch pipe plug, or not plugs, but pieces of pipe, 1-inch pipe. And then this was just off Amazon for like $6 or $7. It came with a cap. It's lying over there. I don't want to put it on because it's hot right now. And then to mount the back, I just put a split through it and a split down either side. And I went to bend these tabs in to set it away from the box. But as I did that, with as thin as the metal is, I ended up trying to bow the whole thing, trying to bend these. So I cut slits in there for less resistance, so it bent over easier. So I welded it to the box and then welded up my slits. But there's the pretty well finished project. So I guess over here in a minute, we'll go over and install it on my brother's 6.5. Alright, so I got it all welded up, and I'll show you what I did wrong welding it the first time. I took the tank, and I thought I'd kind of make just the general shape of box, and some of the stuff is like this for a reason. This, I didn't have the truck near me anywhere. It was somewhere else and didn't have this attached, so I couldn't drive it over here. But this is notched out for the hood. And then this is up because the fender. So I made this, if I remember right, it was 10 inches long and maybe 6 inches deep. And since it was square cornered, it didn't fit for the hood hinge right here, or the spring. And then down here, hit the fender a little bit. So I would suggest just making this about 2 inches shallower towards one side. So make it 8 inches rather than 10. On the top here, I think I measured 1 inch over and chopped that out. And from the bottom, I measured 1 inch up. So I marked there and put an angled line, and then I just drew 2 straight lines across, and then cut myself out a patch to cover that. Here's the piece I took off of there. And to fit this, I took a hammer and dented the fender a little bit. Just make it shorter so it all fits. And then this is really thin metal, and I don't think I got a very good seal on there. And these, another thing with these, is I did a horrible job the second time around. But when you get these, sink these in all the way up to the steel so that you're not welding on the threads, because those are so thin. So I think I might have got a hair bit of a leakage there, but I think I probably fixed it. Not very good welds, but I think I might have fixed it. And then there's one little spot in here I tried to weld, but I'm gonna assume this will still leak. I might eventually just take a hole saw and saw this out bigger and take just a square piece of metal, cut a hole, and weld a different one of these on a piece of metal, then take that square piece and weld it on top of here, if that keeps leaking. So I'm gonna fit it in the truck now. So, majestic. So here's where the hood spring hits the box, which now clears. And then you can see, you can't really see, but down there I did dent a little bit to make the corner fit. So I'm gonna put antifreeze in it and hopefully it has no leaks. All right, so I took it for a test drive, and yes, I still do have a seep under here. Everything else appears to be fine. It clears the hood hinge just fine. And everything seemed to work out. It is a steel tank, so I think some people probably comment about rust and stuff, which I'm not too worried about. The outside of it will rust. I think the inside will probably rust a little less, possibly, being full of coolant. There is other things on vehicles that are steel. Like, this is for gas, not for water. But like on a motorcycle, they have a steel tank, and there is condensation in the top of your tank. So they say to either have your tank totally dry empty, or have it all the way full on your motorcycle so you don't rust the inside of your tank. Old pickups have steel tanks in them, and this is different. It's not fuel, it's water going through here. But yet at the same time, the inside of your block is also steel. So it already is making contact with steel. And I don't assume that's gonna last a lifetime, but I do think it will last a decent while. And if it doesn't, it was only 20 bucks. So I guess it's worth just playing around with for 20 bucks. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that helped if you decide to make one of these. This is my brother's 6.5 diesel. I asked on another video a while ago if anyone wanted to see videos on this truck. And upcoming here pretty soon, I think we will be doing a video on this truck. Just talking to him about the truck and driving it around. So thanks for watching Black Diesel Garage. I hope it was informational for you. And any support is appreciated. So thanks.